token, it's not a piece of gold. It's not a thing. It's an entry on a ledger, on a public, immutable, encrypted ledger that is superior in every way to the trust system that has dominated since the Rothschilds created 800 years ago.
And there you have it, a brief clip from Mark Yusko. We have more from Mark. Mark will be giving us his take on why Bitcoin is that currency and why we're going through the death of the current banking system. We'll be hearing about all this from Mark, so make sure you watch this one to the end. Before we get to any of that, make sure you go ahead and check us out at Bitcoin Bros 26 on Twitter. We appreciate all your guys' support. If you like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and show us some love. And taking a look at the Bitcoin price chart, what do we see? What do we anticipate? Let's zoom into the price action. So this is Bitcoin versus the US dollar on the weekly, and you see we peaked out back in November of 2021, and we came back and hit our head once, and then on the second try, we actually came back and sort of flipped this resistance to support. So why do we have this line drawn above? So let's look back in the charts and see what we see after the previous all-time high of 2017. You see we came up, hit our head, came up, hit our head again, and then broke through this downwards resistance, made a new channel that we came up, hit our head. Now nobody could really test or know where this upwards resistance is going to be, so keep that in mind. And then when we come back down, we come back, hit our head, and then this resistance is flipped to support, then ultimately breaking out of that and testing it once, then twice, then we're off to the races. That's the 2017 high to the 2018-19 bear market. Let's look at the previous high before that in 2013. So we came up, hit our head once, blasted through it, made a new channel, retested once, then retested twice before ultimately breaking up for this downwards resistance, then ultimately flipping this to resistance to support, and then off to the races once again. So if we look at where we are right now, we can see a lot of similarities in the chart. We hit our head, came back up, flipped resistance to support, and then we're going to come up and probably put in a high in a new channel. Now the question is how high is this channel going to be? Nobody knows. This could come all the way up to 35,000, or this could come all the way down to 25,000. No one knows. But if you note the pattern of the previous two cycles, we get in this channel, we hit the upper bound, and then retest that channel. Get in this channel, hit the upper bound, and then retest the lower bound of that channel again. So technically this channel could look something like this, but it hasn't been that small of a channel over the past two cycles. So the thought is we're flipping this resistance to support, and we could have some price action come up to the upside. No one knows how high this can go. This could stop at 25, this could stop all the way up at 50. No one knows, but the thought is we'll come back down eventually to retest this. Now whether we're putting in a lower low later on in the year, or whether this sort of lulls out and comes down even lower, once again, no one knows. This will be before that 2024 halving. And then once again, looking back at the charts, once we test this, we break above it, retest it again, off to the races. Once we test this, double test, break above it, retest, and off to the races. So however long it takes to come up, hit our head, and retest this, and break above it, retest, flip resistance to support before we go off to the races, that could be some time. But all in all, the patterns are still mirroring. And then taking a look at an update from Crypto Prof, he's showing you something similar and why this is a reversal pattern. Bitcoin has already broken the 200 EMA on the daily. Now if we look back here on the charts, we see that in 2021 and 2022 the Stoch RSI was already overheated. We can see that down here. Today in 2023, the Stoch RSI makes a double bottom at the same time. That's the biggest difference here. There's a lot of room to rip up to the upside. So this is a rounding bottoming pattern, and the bottom probably was 15.6. Another update from El Crypto Prof. Similar things happened in 2015 and 2019, and which signaled the start of a new bull run. Well, right now, you see every 4 years we see this similar pattern. Every 4 years. And now we're just curling back up. So are we going to get this rip up to the upside, an ultimate blast up over this horizontal resistance, come back down and retest this before we rip off to the races after that 2024 halving? And Stock Money Lizards is showing us that we are in accumulation zone. We are in the accumulation range. Right now we could come back up before dipping back down and blasting up. Come back up, dip back down before blasting up, come back up, brief pullback before blasting up. Rinse, repeat. Every cycle is not the same, but it oddly rhymes. But one thing to note from the game of trades, the spread is flashing a major warning signal. Too much optimism in the market is usually not good, at least in the short term. So you see here, this red line is excessive optimism. And every time we come up and touch this line, which we're above it right now, what's the price do? Dumps. Dumps. And right now, if we're waiting to see what the SPX is going to do next, there's a good chance it's going to dump. So will Bitcoin follow the SPX? Robert Kiyosaki gives his take. Giant crash coming. Depression is possible. The Fed is forced to print billions in fake money. By 2025, gold at 5,000, silver at 500, and Bitcoin at 500,000. Why? Because the faith of the US dollar, aka fake money, will be destroyed. Bitcoin is the people's money. Without further ado, let's hear more from Mark Yusko. If you're not familiar with Mark, he's the founder, CEO, and CIO of Morgan Creek Capital. Let's hear what he has to say about the disruption and the fall of the current system.
What people forget is a token, it's not a piece of gold, it's not a thing, it's an entry on a ledger, on a public, immutable, encrypted ledger that is superior in every way to the trust system that has dominated since the Rothschilds created 800 plus, well, the Medicis and the Rothschilds created 800 years ago. And that system is under assault by this incredible technology, this gift, literally gift from Satoshi et al., everyone who's been involved in this gift. And it's interesting, as I have the hashtag, right? Then they fight you. We're in phase 3. You know, first they ignored us, 2009 to 15, a bunch of nerds and geeks. Then they laughed at us, okay? 2016 to 21, a bunch of nerds and geeks with their magic internet money, whatever. Then they fight you. And the fight is just starting. So it feels like it's been going on, but it's just starting, and it's getting ugly. That's why I'm wearing the red pants today, because look, Goldman Gary and Carlisle Jerry are on a mission. Yep. And it ain't a mission from God, right? They can't destroy crypto, right? Because crypto is bigger than them. It is permanent. It is a permanent change in technology, as we've talked about on the show. They can't stop it, but they can delay it. And they delay it using this hammer, this club of regulation. Yep. And it's even crazier in that they're allowed, for some unknown reason to me, to rewrite the rules, right? You go into Kraken and you say, yeah, we said this wasn't a security, but now we're saying that by staking it and earning interest on it, you violated securities laws. How did we do that?
And there you have it from Mark Yusko from Morgan Creek Digital, and he's giving you his take on how they're sort of just attacking us. They're attacking the crypto space and they want to collapse this. But once again, crypto is going to last a lot longer than the politicians that are in power right now. Bitcoin's going to be around a lot longer than everybody on the globe. Keep that in mind. This is the fight that we expected. And within due time, crypto, Bitcoin will prevail. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We do this every single day for you guys. We put out multiple videos daily. We appreciate every single one of you. And with that, that's all I have for you today. Until next time.